Good evening, ladies and gamers. Welcome to episode 2 of Radio RPP, hosted by Papa Sand and Bean, your beautiful RPP admins. Tonight we have with us two of our most active players in Rally Point Pilipinas. We have here Raziel 14
Hello.
and
Underscore 14.
Duff, our naturalized Filipino friend. Say
Basketball
hi.
ang peg of.
Oh yes,
We're playing basketball here, Duff. You're a
I'm
naturalized big
finally
man player,
assimilated.
dude.
Yes. You don't even have to marry a Filipino to do it.
Yeah,
So lucky.
Lucky.
how lucky.
All right. So today, of the support that we got from the last episode, thank you very much. And a lot of you have been telling us that, wait, you guys are getting straight into tactical gaming, but we don't even know what tactical gaming is. And that tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is our topic. What is tactical gaming and what is it in the context of the Philippine gaming sphere?
As well as
So,
the past, present, and the future, which we will be covering a bit about. So don't forget about that.
exactly. This is why we have a co-host because just one host will forget everything. Thank you very much, Sam.
Exactly. So
All right.
anyways, go ahead.
Well, before that though, let's have our guests introduce themselves. So here's the basic question. So just tell us who you are, how long you've been playing tactical games for, and what tactical games you've been playing so far. Let's start with age before grace. So let's go with Raz.
Yes, age before grace. Thank you. I can really feel the years coming in by the attacks to my lower back. Oh, well and good. Let us begin. Uh, Raziel 14. That's my handle name, but you can just call it Raz if you ever see me in game. Essentially, I've had a fondness for tactical gaming way back, even during the early stages of when I was playing, how'd you put this? Video games way back high school days, essentially. Believe I started tactical gaming through uh, Tom Clancy games such as Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six, the first couple ones. Unfortunately, we didn't have the PC capable back then to play the first Ghost Recon, but those kinds of games I always seem to have taken a shine to. More often than not, if I were to split the difference between what is considered a tactical gaming and whatnot, is that it puts everyone within a level playing field to solve certain problems. Because most of the time, you got scenarios like Doom or Halo where you're some epic super soldier, you are the main star, the hero, where you are predetermined by the game that you're gonna win, with through acts of heroism. In tactical gaming, it's less like that. The battlefield is more fair, but the game gives you tools to somehow still win, but the margin of error is a lot higher that if you did not make the right plans, you're going to lose, and oftentimes frustrating. If you played the older Rainbow Six games and such, the time to kill is so fast that you so much misses one enemy and you lose the game. You're back to the beginning. And then you plan again. You plan your tactics to suit the scenario. At least that's how I see tactical gaming. So from the Rainbow Six days, as the games came out, I kept following those until I wanted to play in a bigger stage. So I thought, where could I play that sort of felt that way? I ended up playing Red Orchestra for the
Oh
longest time,
Oh
shit!
my
where
god.
Really?
Red
Red
Orchestra,
Bruh.
Orchestra.
yes. Red Orchestra, specifically Red Orchestra 2, Rising Storm, so playing the World War II front where there is actually a commander, and I've experienced it playing sometimes on the West Coast, but mostly in the Japanese server. So it's funny because it's tactical in the sense that it is a large scale tactical, which is like 50v50 players. Most of the time, the earlier tactical games was either co op or had very little amount of players uh, you fight against. If not most of the time, it's against AI. And after that, Red Orchestra is great. It's immersive and all that jazz, but it's more of just throw as much bodies as you can in it. Skillful players still lead the way for the most part, and then next thing you know, I find I had never heard of Squad before. When it released out on Seaman V9, I just saw communicate, command, coordinate, and said, you know what? Let's give it a try. And then next thing you know, 2,600 hours were here.
Oh
The
God,
rest is history. And then
bruh.
it was only during the times I was getting bored of Squad, because I mean that's a long time to play. So I ended up finding the other games that we here at RPP promote, such
Yeah.
as Insurgency. Yeah, actually, I ended up getting Insurgency, the first one, out, taking a break from Squad, and then the Sandstorm, and then the more recent ones that were endorsed by Sandman or Canninator or anyone else from this community, such as Zero Hour and Ground Branch, which are also games that I have not looked into before. But looking at what they're doing now, I'm hoping that they continue to get more updates. But yeah, that's my gaming history as far as
Tactical
tactical gaming is
games.
concerned.
Goddamn Red Orchestra. Jesus Christ.
That's where you get
Dinosaurs,
Man, I
man.
blooded,
can
man.
feel my arthritis just, listening to you.
Dinosaurs, dinosaurs.
Yes, like I said, the attack on my lower back has been
Yeah.
relentless. You'll get
Alright.
there too.
Oh, fuck you. I hope not.
So now let's hear it from Duff. Duff, you're one of the younger members of our community. You're actually
Oh,
not even
sure.
of legal age to drink Duff beer. So let's hear it from you. What do you think is
No,
the tactical genre to you? What going into it as a young gamer who is supposed to be marketed to Fortnite or other kinds of games
Yeah.
that are popular. What is it to you? What keeps you coming back to tactical gaming? What keeps you wanting to keep playing commander, squad lead? What's the appeal of tactical games to you? You play a lot of Insurgency, Sandstorm with us, Ground Branch even, I think, or I don't think you ever, but what is it? So let us know.
yeah,
Go ahead, Duff.
I do keep coming back to. I do keep coming back to it. Yeah, sorry for the lag.
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
worries.
like I'm from the UAE, so it'll take a while. There's a bit of
Yeah,
delay.
no worries.
I don't play tactical games all the time, but I do keep an interest in them because there's just this bond between you and your teammates that you don't get in like Call of Duty or CS:GO or Rainbow Six Siege. You just talk to them, you get mad at them, you shout at them, you swear at them, you shoot them, you team kill them, and then after that you just feel sad and depressed at the end of the game because you're just left with a bad experience. It's just terrible. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing squad, you get the bond as if you're actually in the military. You talk to these other people and you like make friends. It's just a community now that you just talk to each other in a nice way, even if it's like a little bit toxic sometimes.
A
Sometimes
little
it's in a
bit.
joking, yeah, a little bit. Sometimes it does escalate. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
putting it lightly.
Yeah. But
But go on, go on.
Go on, go
it's
on.
the relationship between the other people to me that I value because I you don't really get this with other people. I find milsims much more interesting because it's something that not a lot of people can experience. Not a lot of people will go to the army and they'll have these kinds of experience. And if they do, they'll come back with either no limbs or severe psychological trauma.
Holy
That's
crap, that
that's
escalated really
literally
quick.
that's I mean that's what happens. That is what happens. They come back with trauma or just
Yeah.
something that impacts their life in the future that I don't want. I don't want to have trauma for the rest of my life. So if I can have an experience that other people cannot get in a safe and secure way, I would definitely take that. Plus, as an upside, you get these relationships with other people that you don't really get elsewhere. And especially now in Corona, the times of Corona, you don't really go out often, and it's kind of psychologically bad because I want to talk to other people. I want to talk to other Asians. I'm stuck in the United Arab Emirates. I have nowhere to go. There's just no one that I can relate to sometimes, and I just want to go back sometimes. And that's it. That's why RPP is just so favorable to me. I don't play in any other server just because of that. I want to talk to people from where I am. I want to talk to people who can relate to me. That's why I come back to RPP, and that's why I play tactical because the relationships are just unreal. You don't get it anywhere else.
Right. So what I hear from this is Duff and Raz kind of agree on one thing, that tactical games require a certain communication. But here's the thing, like what Duff said earlier. he sees tactical games as kind of like a milsim period, right? Like milsim games talaga. And with that, would you define tactical gaming as such? Number one, it has to be military simulation. Number two, it has to have communication. And number three, it has to be cooperative. With those three factors in mind, would you say that a game with all those three factors would be tactical, would be considered a tactical game?
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
elements are there. The elements are there. It could be it could be military themed in any era that they want. From I don't know. I mean, would anybody be down for like a tactical medieval simulator? I'd be down for that. Tactical bow headshot. Why not?
I mean,
Yeah.
kind of like treading the line, like you
Because
have games like Hell Let Loose, right? Duff, I don't know, Duff and Raz, I don't think you've played Hell Let Loose, but Hell Let Loose is essentially like, it comes from a time period where military tactics were at its like earliest because, you coming from World War I, you had trench warfare, and World War II was more, they used units more, movements of platoons and all of these,
The birth of the
squad
modern
based.
squad was in World
Yeah,
War
it's the
II.
birth of the modern squad basically, and that's I guess one thing that kicked off well. You have Hell Let Loose, and it gave everyone a really good World War II shooter experience. And you wouldn't necessarily say that it's a tactical. Tactical games or tactical. The word tactical might not have been around that time, but we still kind of count it as such because it's got all the elements of that tactical shooter. The communication. Then you have the squad movements and all the I guess mechanics of the game that kind of shift the gameplay in its favor. Like what Raz said, it's all about working with the team and giving you the tools to succeed. So I guess that's one thing I noticed about like the tactical gaming genre, and even have games like Door Kickers too, right? XCOM, these are RTS or like kind of real time strategy or rather procedural games that utilize the concept of real life military tactics. So that's I guess one thing I kind of noticed also. So, anyways, Raz, Duff, you got any thoughts about that?
Yeah, just building on what you said. It's also give the game or things that can be considered tactical give you the opportunity to make use of humanity's collected knowledge of warfighting. Because what is tactical but to choose the most efficient solution to a problem? Problem being putting your enemies on the ground. So again, you're not some super soldier. Most of the time, your character can't take more than 5 bullets to the chest and one to the head because you're not Master Chief. You don't have regenerating health shields or get angry enough to not die, like the Doom guy.
Yeah,
If
the
you're
Doom
just
guy.
a flesh and blood human being, maybe you'll have like some super exosuit
Maybe you'll have
maybe
like some
depending on
level
the
four
yeah
ceramics, you
or
know?
level 4 ceramic, but it's still
Exactly.
based within sort of it still draws heavily on the real world experiences that goes around within the history of humanity and their war fighting. So essentially, no one man can win a war, so you must have a team. The team must be able to coordinate because, again, Art of War, Sun Tzu, battles are won by leadership and logistics, which is another can of worms. But yeah, that's what I think about tactical. Another addition to how we
Logistics.
define as tactical, because
What about you?
logistics is actually that I think about it something that was spearheaded by I believe by PR and then brought forward to Squad, which is something that if you at a piece of paper, if you look at it top down, how could logistics ever be exciting? But we have Euro Truck, so you tell me. You tell me.
I mean, look at Maylard. Like our, we talked about this last episode, right? Being Maylard just
Yeah,
runs
man, there's just
logistics, dude. This guy's a logistics king, and he just has fun with
that's
it.
his
So
fun.
it's
That's his
fun.
fun. This idea of
You can
fun.
find, and I guess that's something about the tactical shooter genre, the tactical gaming genre that makes it fun. Is you can find fun in any niche of this niche. So it's like some people just enjoy flying helo all day. Doing spotting runs around the map, and like who wants to do that? Masochists maybe, but Logis like Melee just does that all day. How about you, Duff? What do you think about like what we've been talking about exactly? So like you know I guess categorizing Bean, right? Categorizing
Honestly,
tactical
Raz has a
games.
very intellectual view.
That's
Raz
okay.
has a very intellectual view on all of these things, but I honestly don't really put much thought into the games that I pick. If it's labeled tactical, I'll just play it. To be honest.
The
I like the
marketing
skin.
lord, the marketing lords have done their job.
Yeah,
Oh, monkey brain
Uy,
like tactic.
Bean marketing daw.
Bye, bye,
No,
tactics, bye.
oh, don't bring my fucking work into this fucking place, man. I was shit where I eat. No.
No,
Anyway,
no. Okay. Anyway, sorry,
yeah,
Duff, we cut you
definitely,
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Continue. You know, wait, okay, let's talk about
That
that.
was it,
You
honestly.
say
I mean,
tactical and you buy it. Like, why? Why though? You do you have like a certain assumption of what the word tactical would mean in the video game that you just think, pat, let's go. Like, okay, let's say someone made.
when I see tactical in a game, when I see tactical in a game, usually I think I'm gonna have to use my brain and I have to outsmart the enemy in how I manage my troops and how I use them to my advantage to maximize their effectiveness against them. And if I can do that, I can achieve victory. And there's nothing better than winning in a game online against some other guy that you don't see. But that's what I like. I like that I have to exercise my brain and I have to use every bit of knowledge that I have on using it to beat the enemy so I can achieve that sweet, glorious victory. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want to use is to exercise my brain.
Okay, I want to
Real
follow up
life.
on that. I want to follow up on that. So you want to use whatever you know about the game to be the enemy, but you can say the same for any other competitive game. Like, let's say Siege. Siege has tons of mechanics. Siege
The
has like a
meta,
lot
diba?
of
The meta.
it has a
The
meta.
meta.
It has a meta. And everything that you just said could be applied to that. So would in that vein, would you consider other competitive shooters, for example, like CS:GO, Valorant, Siege? Would you consider those as tactical games, given what you just said to us?
For CS:GO and for Valorant, their weapons are not realistic. You got these guns that go up and then they have a spray pattern that people get used to. And if you play in a competitive game, you walk somewhere, people will just laser you in the head out of nowhere. You just don't know because they have a lot of experience in these games. But two other games, for example, like in Squad or like in Ground Branch, you need the the way that the guns are used are not the same. The patterns are there's no pattern. You just got to fire and it goes in a different random direction like a real gun. That's the experience I want to get. It's a more realistic weapons experience. And for example, in Rainbow Six, their guns may not have a pattern, but all you got to do is just pull the mouse down and you can kill someone easily. They have 100 HP. You shoot them a couple times, maybe like mag dump them, or you can shoot them through a wall and you will kill them. But there's not really much joy in just shooting and pulling down the mouse. I want to get long range as if you're a soldier in Afghanistan. You got to shoot someone like 600 meters away, and then oopsie daisy, there's mortars coming down, so you got to take cover as well. Listen to your
Mm.
squad leader, and it's that cooperation that you don't get in these other games. It's just a different experience, much more complex as well, which is much better in my opinion. I like the complexity of these games.
Complexity of it, yes. And you also mentioned something about there was a modicum of command. There has to be a modicum of command for you to consider it a tactical game.
Yeah, the leadership structure is if 'cause, like for example, sometimes I just don't want to use my brain too much. I'm tired, like after a long day. I can just play as a random, rifleman. Don't really put much thought into it. My squad leader and then the rest of the other squad leaders and the commander will decide on what to do, and all I have to do is follow the orders. Just stick with the squad, follow what they do, and as long as you're cooperating with your friends, basically at this point they'll be your friends and your squad leaders, you will win the game from this cooperation, which is what I enjoy. You don't
Mm.
cooperate much in different games because you are a one man army. For example, in Rainbow Six, you can ace the entire team, same as for CS:GO and Valorant. You can ace the entire enemy team if you're better than them, but you can't ace the entire team in squad or in ground branch because you'll get shot once and you could die. The stakes are much higher than in these other arcadey games. You just don't get the same experience because the stakes are high. You get shot once and you die.
Actually, I
Exactly.
want to
Yeah.
follow up on that point that Duff just made. Like how we have the God streamers out there who play Valorant, COD, Warzone. You notice
Can we
how
throw in
when
PUBG
they,
there as well?
yeah, PUBG. You notice how when they step into squad, they play it for a few weeks and just never touch it again. It's because that's exactly what Duff is saying. You know, like you can put down an entire enemy team if you're better than them, but in squad, if you have one squad that has one good player versus a whole squad of of 7 or 9 decent players, they're never gonna get beat by that one good player, no matter how good he is at the game, because that's just how the game meta kind of works. About like, uh,
Unless he has cheats.
I don't want to like yeah.
Within the
Naturally,
confines
we'd
of the
always do
game,
the cheese.
in
Yeah,
an
we're in the
ideal
confines of the game.
scenario.
Ideal scenario, yeah. So you have like I remember I saw an article I think or a comment on social media where remember that time that point in time where Shroud was playing squad and everyone was like, "Whoa, Shroud's playing this new game. What the hell is this?" And he didn't last long in squad, and I don't blame him because it's a very niche game and it's not exactly up to his taste. Like he's a god at Valorant, at CS:GO, at all these kinds of games, and the ones that are dependent on aim and skill, like pure raw skill, because squad and tactical games are a genre that you can learn if you read up enough on military tactics, on squad movements, on comms discipline, and I think that's what makes it different from the normal competitive, I guess, scene of games we see around, and it's definitely not for everyone. And diba, like squad Shroud is just really good at what he does in his games, but he just doesn't thrive, I guess, in squad and tactical games because that's just how he plays. So
And
I
yet,
don't know. What do you think about that, Raz?
ironically, Shroud actually, I've watched those streams because I was also curious how a professional gamer in an FPS arena would
Mm-hmm.
perform in squad, and I enjoyed watching his streams. And to
He
be
was
honest,
good, yeah,
he
definitely.
enjoys what squad delivers. It's just that again, the challenges of tactical gaming is, especially in such a large scale, is to find a format that makes it viewer friendly to make it interesting because when you have a star player like Shroud, for example,
Yeah,
Shroud in a 1v5 could be considered, let's say, a heroic or legendary player because that one legendary player can beat 5 players by himself if necessary, if needed on the clutch. But when you put him into a larger scale battlefield, he now becomes from hero, legendary player, he's now down to an asset in a single squad of nine
it's true.
from a group of 50
Yeah,
on such a large scale map that is kilometers wide. So how is that one player supposed to make such a grand difference? Because for example, in a 5v5 environment, on a 1v1, let's say Shroud takes out one, he already took 20% off the effectiveness of the enemy team, right? From 100 minus one player, they're down to 80% effectiveness, and so on and so on. But in squad, Shroud kills, let's say, 3 players in a moment. What? There's still 47 to go. So unless Shroud is able to put down, let's say, 30, 40 people within 5 minutes on a kilometer-sized map, that's the only time that's going to be legendary. People will be calling for hacks. But it's not. Because Shroud has to now learn how to play with not just 9 players within his own squad. He now has to learn how to coordinate and read the map to play with the other 40. And
yeah.
that is such a steep learning curve that's why squad leaders and commanders are a niche crew, which is again why we're um, grateful for Duff for some reason always usually being an SL or a commander.
You like
And then
hurting yourself.
he
Like this.
gives he goes he opens a little ticket and says, "Hey San, I got banned for intentional not intentional but like TKs,
Mass team kill.
mass team kills." And I'm like, "All right, hold up, brother. Let me just get that unbanned for you."
Right?
Anyways,
I mean,
yeah,
I gotta
so
apologize for that,
Yeah.
but if the team is on the brink of losing, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
exactly. So
And
it's
yeah.
kind of those kind of risks you take, and
Mm-mm.
it's why we appreciate Duff because being let's say when you play these kinds of games, right? The regular games, you can just kind of hop in and out, right? Yeah, and then with the command or the squad lead role, we always tell each other, right? It's a thankless job.
Yes, oh, it is a thankless
It's a
job.
thankless job, It is, right? Raz and Duff
Yeah.
can assure you that from Raz's how many thousands of hours of squad
Yeah.
leading, it's it's just nobody says thank you to you at the end of the
I've
match.
got
Like
like
no one.
700
here's
fucking hours. All
but
right.
here's what I'm gonna tell you now, and Duff already said this earlier as well, because I agree with his statement earlier. While it is a thankless job, but the high you get from seeing that victory screen in a heavy match, knowing that you were one of 5 to 6 key players who had coordinated your squad, especially with them performing well, that you managed to build rapport with your squad and you all had a good time, there is no high like anything else. And once you taste that high, I don't think you'll ever want to completely stop from squad leading.
I think I get
There's
what
just
you mean
something
with
unique
that.
about it. Yeah, there's
It's
just
the
something
same
about
kind
it.
of I get when I finish like a game of Dungeons and Dragons as a
Hmm.
Like
DM.
an adrenaline rush, no?
Like
Yeah.
everyone goes out, just like there's high fives everywhere. Everyone's just, oh my god, let's do it again. Yeah, it's that kind of when you facilitate something,
Hmm.
especially a really clutch win where you win or lose by like 1, 2 tickets. That's that good shit. That's chef's kiss, motherfuckers.
Mm-mm. Yeah. What is serotonin? Or serotonin
But
rush?
maybe
I
now
don't know.
we wanna talk about how the genre has evolved. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
like
definitely.
this is
Sure.
definitely. I think this is
Pause.
about time we kind of. What's up?
I need to pause. I really need to pee.
Okay, so
Sure.
we'll wait for Bean and or actually we can just keep going on. Like I'll talk to you guys about this. So this is
Not a
seamless,
problem.
transition. So uh basically
Yep.
Raz, for
Hmm.
you as somebody who's been playing the tactical gaming genre for a long while, what can you say about the past of the genre? How have you seen it I guess transpire from the past to the present and the future? And then Duff, I will ask you the same question after. So go ahead, Raz. Like
Not a
I want to hear
problem.
your thoughts about the past, the present, the future. And I'll give my
Sure.
own thoughts after you guys and also Bean will. So go ahead.
Fair enough. Tactical gaming in the past was literally constrained by the technology of the time, to put it simply. The best time that tactical shooters had, or the best that the past tactical shooters could have, is niche scenarios, usually mimicking real life. For example, Rainbow Six or Rainbow Six counter-terrorist movement,
Hmm.
hostage rescue, in very niche environments, if not scripted or railroaded to provide an experience that you are a multinational elite team of operators.
Operators.
Yes, is the word. Operators is the word.
Operators.
Or Splinter Cell, where you
Yeah,
are an
uh-huh.
agent of the NSA and you've been given the tools and the training to go in and out of highly secured locations to get information for the Uncle Sam and all that
Yeah,
jazz.
uh-huh.
And all of those were, of course, limited by the technology of their time because they are uh, single player experiences at the time. Then you have cooperative tactical games coming out after that, so long as the technology allowed it. So, from what I'm seeing now in the present, we are now at the threshold where tactical gaming is making a scene. Especially, I'm surprised that how many sort of games that are going within the sort of squad sphere of games are suddenly starting to pop out because people are starting to notice that there is a market for this kind of gaming. And now we have it's becoming more common now that servers have 100 players in it, 50v50, that there is always usually a leadership role now because they learned that maybe just chucking 100 players on a map to fight each other, that's just battle royale. But if you want something more coordinated, you got to put them on teams, and those teams have to coordinate themselves, and then you got to give them tools to plan. So they want vehicles, they want the ability to construct spawn points, fobs, buildings. So now you have tactical players who like to defend, you have tactical players that like to attack, and now you have some sort of, it's like creating tactical presets per player. What do you look for when you enter in the game? I want to be a squad leader. I want to be a grunt. I want to be a vehicle tank commander like General Patton, rolling all the tanks under me, and we just roll in and beat shit up if we don't get hit by a tow. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And in the future tactical gaming, I'm hoping, well, in a dream, fever dream, maybe it becomes VR. Imagine playing squad in VR,
My
or
God.
as the
Yeah.
technology increases, as our PCs get faster, we jump to 200 player servers. Now, who knows? We might actually have to have a team doing top down RTS like they're the fucking chief of staff. demanding the other players because you have a
I
hundred.
will
That's
Fox
a lot of
Knowledge.
squads.
Isn't
So
that Foxhole? Yeah,
yeah, but in a
yeah.
sense, but more of like a first person ish
Uh huh.
sense because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
think there's a
true.
server that exists right now, unless
No,
maybe
no.
NASA, if they'll let us borrow, to see if you can run a 200 player server. That would be crazy. So I'm thinking tactical gaming and its effects such as ballistics, uh, player movement, map size, player count, it's just going to keep getting better as our technology evolves. And of course, as we learn in warfighting, knock on wood, World War III doesn't come soon, so we can actually get to enjoy that shit. So yeah, then that's how I see it.
Yeah. Anyways, Duff, I know you might not have seen, tactical gaming in its prime, in its infancy. So
Infancy.
basically, like you're seeing it in its prime, I guess, or its pre-prime, because so I want to know, like, maybe what are your thoughts about what Raz has said about, for example, the infancy of tactical gaming in its past, and then now what do you think about tactical gaming as the current generation of gamers, experiencing it at its peak, and then what do you think about it going into the future, with all the, I guess, advancements in technology or whatever thoughts you have about it. Go ahead, Duff.
I actually did have experience with an early RTS on my Xbox 360 that my dad bought. I played Splinter Cell all night. I loved it. It was my first art. It was my first, strategy game where you got to plan out how this agent would fight off basically a bunch of Russian special forces or whatever the story was to then extract the intel and then exfil and mission complete. All that fun stuff. I've had experience with that, but I also, since I'm from the iPad generation, I also watched a couple of YouTubers playing like SWAT 4
Yeah, that's another good
or
one.
all those
Oh,
kinds of
SWAT 4.
early RTSs. I watched those. SWAT 4 was really interesting for me because it was this, which is basically you work as a team to breach a house, clear the house professionally, and it's almost like if Squad was put into a urban area where you had special forces or not special, like SWAT teams against these organized criminals who are taking people hostages, and you got to go in there and clear them out. However, it was only co-op because you couldn't fight as the criminals. You had to be the SWAT team and fight off everybody. That's just the
Actually,
early.
there is a version of it that
There
does
was.
that.
I
Yeah,
I don't really
there
know.
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm iPad generation. I just watched it,
Mm.
but as far as I knew, it was co-op, and it was realistic because you had these realistic weapons that would shoot people, and it doesn't take much shots like in Rainbow Six. One of the main reasons I bought Rainbow Six was to try and get the experience from my childhood watching SWAT 4. But as you know now, it's not really. It didn't turn out like SWAT 4. It's more arcadey, more
Yeah,
like
that's like a
CS:GO.
entry level actually.
Yeah, and then I picked up Squad on a on a, what do you call them,
Team
like a
sale.
Free
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 weekend.
weekend,
weekend, free
free
weekend. Yeah,
weekend,
yeah.
yeah, free
Uh-huh.
weekends. I got it on a free weekend and I loved it. I mean, well, the first server I was in was not too friendly to new players, admittedly, but I still liked the experience of talking to these new people from somewhere else to work together and coordinate together to actually beat these people. And that is what RTS, that's what milsims are today, or tactical games today. You work together in a larger server to try and beat the other team who are also trying to counter your plans with their own plans. And it's just this back and forth sometimes in the map where you got to go attack a point and then you fight over that middle point for a while. And then one team makes a breakthrough in their strategy, in their plan to finally take this point, and then they can capture the next point simultaneously. And you just outsmart your enemy in that situation. Now, as for the future of RTSs, I actually talked to this with one of my friends. I just thought, what if we could have these large servers where it's a battalion versus battalion situation, and you'll have these, majors who are telling the commanders on the field where to go. For example, I don't really know military ranks, to be honest, but you have these higher ups who tell the commanders on the battlefield where to move, and they'll have a map, just like in and Generals, if you've played that game, where you can tell your army where to fight on a map, and then the game will start in that map, and the commanders will have to make sure that the individual squads, will work together to achieve the victory, so that the higher up can continue or further his plan to invade, wherever you're going on the map. That's what I hope the future of RTS, or the future of RTSs and milsims would be.
All right.
No, they already have that in Foxhole, Foxtrot, Foxhole.
Foxhole.
I guess
Foxholes
it's
top
it's
down. It's not
tactical
the
in
same.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's tactical in some odd way, but you feel kind of constrained by the way that the game was designed.
Right,
Honestly,
because
it feels
isometric
kind of
shot.
limiting. Yeah, yeah, from the top bottom. But I think Duff put really interesting there because it keeps reoccurring here. I guess Duff put it best in a way that tactical gaming today, because tactical gaming before was the experience of the games that could deliver. But now that we're in the age of the internet and massively multiplayer games, tactical gaming are the people, because when
Yeah.
you put tactical, it brings people who want that experience, who may want to learn the skills to play tactically or already have the skills to play tactically. And when you keep coming back to the server, you're learning from people. It's the people now that makes you keep coming back. And
That's
I
about
believe
to show
that's an
us
accurate. Yeah,
community.
that's about accurate actually.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty good one actually. It's a pretty good point
The
you just
real
made.
tactical games are the friends we make along the
Yeah,
Yes,
boy.
sir.
It's the people. It's
Tactical
the
gaming is
people.
Yeah.
it's
Admit
networking.
it.
Ano,
Admit it.
Definitely.
Bean, gawa na tayo MLM sa RPP.
It's
Or
the
refer mo
people.
yung kaibigan mo. We'll have a promo for you.
We'll sponsor you in
We'll
Axie
sponsor you.
Infinity.
Gago.
Nah, we
No,
don't
no.
do any of that
Anyways,
stuff, man. We
You're
keep it
not
no,
doing
real.
no.
that shit here. Nope.
No.
All
We
right.
keep
Anyways,
it
Now,
real.
how
now
about you,
that
Bean?
okay,
Do you want to add any thoughts? Because I plan to add also. But do you want to add first
regarding
regarding
like
the
where
past,
it's
present, and
going.
the future? Yeah,
All
I
right.
guess.
Well, past. I guess I started playing tactical game. The first tactical game I've ever played. I don't know if you could call it a tactical game, but it had squad commands. Was Force Recon Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
You
entry level
old,
tactical.
bro.
Actually,
And
yeah.
fuck
Now that
you.
you mention it, yeah, but it's still, yeah, that's still within the confines of
Yeah.
an entry
It's a
level
tactical game.
tactical. I
Yeah,
can't
it
believe I
was right.
forgot SWAT 4. Thank you for mentioning that, though.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I kind of
SWAT
want
for
to
too.
hit myself.
Yeah, like right now, like I got into where I am right now, at least with Squad, Ground Branch, and Zero Hour ISMC, because of watching Operator Drewski do his shit.
Uh,
It was Operator
same.
Drewski that put me in here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically. And I saw like after like playing so many fucking hours of Siege and Overwatch and all these competitive shooters, the brain as it gets older, it just starts rejecting that kind of competitive bullshit. Like what Duff said earlier, you do get to talk to other people when you're in those games, but what happens is you're just literally just getting toxic at each other. It's not fun.
Yeah. It's like, you're
With
losing na nga,
Yeah.
nagtitilt pa kayo ng
yeah,
kaibigan, di
yeah,
ba? Parang,
exactly.
what, di
Yeah,
ba? How are you gonna win if you're bringing down
losing
your own
both in
teammates?
game emotionally.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I don't want that shit. I play video games to have fun, and that shit
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's what I think that's why tactical
Sana all may
gaming.
invite sa squad. Joke lang.
That's why tactical gaming. I think at least in the next few years will become a bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
Like, because people are starting to see like there are more and more people that are starting to see the value in games that don't care about rank, don't care about individual skill, they don't care about who has the most broken, overpowered operator available to them. They don't have a meta, so to speak. There's no very effective roster that you have to keep picking every single time if you want to try hard. I don't see that in any of the tactical games I play. But what I do see are people enjoying the mental gymnastics that you have to go through to achieve the objectives. Because when it comes to the games we play, at least objectives are more or less open ended. For example, in Squad, you have capture points, of course, but and the objective is to capture that point. However, how you do it is what matters, and it's never the same. Like we could all just send all our forces there all the time. Sometimes it works. We could saturate the area with artillery. Sometimes that works, especially when Duff's doing it.
Yeah, boy.
Provided everyone was listening on the radio
Yeah.
not to get killed.
I know how it's done.
Sorry, what was that?
Go on. Duff, you mentioned something? Duff?
No,
Okay.
that's
All right.
I'm just a professional at making the artillery perfect.
Wow, nice.
It's an art form, artillery. Anyway,
Well, I
so
mean,
yeah, that's the thing. That the open endedness of how you achieve those objectives is what keeps me and a lot of us coming back. And I think more and more people are starting to see the value in that. People are
Mm,
getting sick of the casual. Okay, let's jump in, do a quick game, and 10 games later, your salty is all shit.
mm-mm. So I
well,
think that's another thing that we can add to the definition of tactical. It freedom of choice, freedom of how you do it, because everybody comes into these games with a tactical playbook, and the
yeah,
only thing that's gonna make a difference is what you know. So
yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so me naman, like, if I was to add to this point of the past, present, and the future of tactical games, for me, the what I've always been an FPS player, like since birth. Like honestly, I've never played any other games except for
Okay,
FPSs.
cue the
So like,
picture of Sandman
you
as
know,
on his diapers holding a mouse and
dude,
keyboard.
when all the kids in my school were into cars and like other boy stuff like Pokemons, I was into guns, dude. I was like a gun nut kid, dude. Like I'd have notebooks filled with like I guess like battle plans of like stick figures fighting or something with guns. Like, I had
Well, you
such a
were
hard on.
out having
I had
sex.
such a
I was
hard on.
studying the
I
rifles.
just such a hard on for guns, bro. But like as you grow, naman, it's like you just realize that guns are pretty much cool enough on just video games, and I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't own a gun in real life, honestly. But anyways, so I've always been playing COD. Like I grew up on Modern Warfare 2, and that was like the sweatiest lobbies. And if you see the meme videos about it, like the lobbies of Modern Warfare 2, where people are just calling out your mom, and you're just like,
A
dude,
lot of guys
I
called my
was
mom back
I
in
was
those days.
11, dude. I was 11 years old in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, and where I was just online, parang being a kid, like, okay, I'm sucking at the game, but I'm having fun. So that's basically how I started getting into the tactical shooter genre. It started with COD, and then when my cousin had a laptop, I used to come over to his house a lot, and he'd be like, "Hey, dude, check out this new game I found. Like it's called Insurgency." So that was pretty much my first dive into tactical gaming. That first Insurgency, I played the hell out of that when I got my own laptop, and then I eventually transitioned into other games. Like I played a lot of. I think I played SWAT 4 nga back when it was like super like bagong release pa lang. And
Mm.
yeah, so that's the past for me. Like I've seen it evolve in a sense. I've seen myself evolve rather, from liking COD and loving the fast-paced gameplay of just having the best guns upgraded, with all these attachments, to just enjoying squad movements and comms, being all nerdy and like being 10-4 moving out, Oscar Mike to the objective. We'll be there in 5 mics. But it gives you such an adrenaline rush. But it's so cringy when you see when other people look at it.
When
It's
you
like
hear yourself in the recording, you're
I
just like,
I'm
ugh,
wearing
ugh.
diba? Like and look, I'm just wearing this milsimp attire just because it's funny, diba? Like you gotta
You
act in
have fun
character and
with
all.
it.
But I was that's why I also got into airsoft and all because I got
Mm-mm.
into a milsim team especially. So we were running milsim events, and that taught me a lot about squad movement. So technically, I do have some knowledge about squad leading. I'm just really lazy to do so. So in like squad and all, but the present of tactical gaming rather is, I believe, we're entering the prime age of the whole genre. Like right now it's just basically the premature, your prepubescent. Tactical gaming is in its prepubescent stage, and it'll hit puberty and then eventually adolescence with OHD. So I want to talk
Yes.
more about you guys have discussed pretty much all the points that I wanted to say about the present, but with the future, let's just talk about how great OHD will be really briefly because we're running out of time here. We'll try to cut this off
Mm-hmm.
at around 1 hour. So we're at 44 minutes. And OHD, let's talk a bit about that. And I think this is going to be the biggest thing to happen to tactical gaming because it's not hidden behind a paywall. And,
Yes.
you know,
Accessibility.
Drakeling Labs has said that we're going to keep the engine of it easy to run, easy to access, so that anyone can have access to the mod tools, anyone can have access to the game. You know, even if you're running a potato rig that's how many years old, you can still play it. But you know, at low settings or medium settings even, and then mid-range systems can run it on high. So that's something new. You know, like in terms of the world now going into new engines like Unreal Engine 5 and all, they've still stuck to that notion that they want to keep the game accessible to everyone. And I think that's just gonna bring the tactical gaming genre into a whole new dimension, I believe. Because think about it, like we discussed last episode, right? People aren't really exactly willing to try Squad because it's hidden behind the 950 peso
Expensive and you
paywall,
don't
diba? It's like,
know if you're gonna
will
like
Yeah.
I even make friends? You know, will I, as they say, diba? Like, what's this Papa San saying na sales stuck dito sa general chat about Squad being a good game and we have an active server, but you know what's really where's the guarantee for that? And
Mm.
you know, the only times people can actually join in is like with for
If,
free or free weekends. But that
yes.
happens once every blue moon now because, you know, I guess OE has slowed down development and, you know, the updates haven't been rolling in. So it's interesting to see like how OHD is coming to fruition. And I want to hear your thoughts about it, guys. Like, you know, do you really think that OHD will be as big as they tout it to be? You know, will it be the tactical game killer of,
the
you know, of
Roblox
the
of
road, you know, the
tactical
Roblox of
games.
tactical games, because they're saying that all these mods will be available, all these, you know, cool, I guess, eras will be available for use anytime. You know, if you want to play Vietnam, go for it. If you want to play World War I, yeah, sure. If you want to play space, dude, Star Wars, they're making a Star Wars mod, so it's really fantastic. And uh, let's hear your thoughts about it. If you want to go first, Raz, and then we'll get Duff and we'll get Bean's thoughts on OHD as you know the coming games.
Mm.
So yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
So right now the potential is very, very high.
Yeah,
Being that the team that Blue Drake has experienced and is playing tactical games, so they have a lot of media and experiences to pull from to get the things that they like and the things that they don't like, and that's great. Especially with so essentially OHD is going to be less like a game and more like a sandbox, essentially,
sandbox exactly.
that you can get for free, no commitment. That's the number one selling point there, only followed shortly by its modability to tailor make your experience to what you want it to be. So that's another huge selling point that it has
Wait, sorry,
versus
Raz.
Squad.
For the viewers' sake, I
Yeah.
forgot to explain that OHD stands for Operation Harsh Doorstop. You can check it out on Steam. You can follow the development there. So go ahead,
Please
Raz.
wish list it.
Wishlisted. Let's
Wish listed.
go.
Yes, please.
So go ahead,
But
Raz. Sorry,
yeah,
cut you
moving
off.
forward versus what Squad has is that Squad is restricted to the time period that it set itself in, or the locale or the setting that it is. Where this is, actually at this point I'm not quite sure if it's what somewhat modern but not really military, I guess would be how I define it, because we're not running the cutting edge anymore by this time. But in Operation Harsh Doorstep, like Sandman said, you could be maybe for this month you're going through the forests of Vietnam. Want to change of pace? Go to the fucking stars. Play like a Star Citizen-ish squad version, essentially. Or like I was jokingly saying, maybe somebody's going to make a medieval squad. So crossbows and bowmen, baby. tactical, tactical door
Yeah.
movement, tactical breach with I don't know, dung bomb and bow and arrow.
No man, I
That's
fucking
what's gonna
love.
happen. And then everybody will have their own horse, and then that's the transportation. But yeah, essentially the thing there is that the potential to build upon Operation Harsh Doorstep will depend on you modders out there. So I'm hoping that you guys are watching the development and have the idea so that we can have as many settings in Harsh Doorstep as allow us. The people who are willing to put the effort. So just gonna that's the potential it has and why it is a potential squad killer, in my eyes. How about you,
How
Duff?
about you, Duff?
They track the development quite frequently because I'm a lot of the time just playing squad or a different game, so I don't really follow the development. But judging from what you guys say, the liberty and the democracy, the freedom that it provides the player, is honestly what a lot of tactical gamers want. It's the freedom to do what they want, and if they can do what they want, they'll be more inclined to get these kinds of games because it gives these kinds of players the limitless opportunities to do what they want. They can, like he said, Vietnam, or it could be in like Italy in World War II. Anything. If this is true, if you can do whatever you want, this will pull in all the players because they can come in from different genres and be unified under OHD to do everything that they want, as long as there is a modder to complete these mods, so they can play
Yeah.
whatever play style that they want. So as long as this does happen, as long as these mods come in, and all of these interesting topics that can pull in people from different genres, medieval genres, could it be World War II genres, could it be futuristic genres, they'll all come in and they'll all play OHD because this is just the freedom that OHD can provide, unlike other games. That's just like in Sandstorm, for example, the old Sandstorm. I used to make my fucking death sounds just the Roblox oof because I could do that. I have the freedom to do that if I want to. So
That's
I
Source
but I
Engine,
feel so.
baby.
It just the limitless opportunity there is it's what pulls people in.
Yeah,
That's my
okay.
take.
That's good. Anyways,
Right,
Bean,
that's
how
a
about
great
you?
thing.
What do you think?
I think Operation Harsh Doorstop is gonna be totally big for the Filipino gaming community.
Oh yes, specifically the Filipino gaming community.
The Filipino gaming community. Filipino gamers, people I've grown up with, they do not like paying for stuff. You know?
Nobody
it
likes
was
paying for
it was
stuff, bro.
only when I got a job that I started paying for shit and realized how,
Yeah.
how much better it is to pay for your shit than download it. But yeah, definitely this is new. This is multiplayer, and it is also a sandbox. And I assume since Operation Harsh No Stop will be support for, there will be tons of free servers with their own shit, set up, and Philippines will be all up in that shit. I think the only way that it would like fail is if like gamers that we have here in the Philippines would be like, oh no, wait, no, this isn't letting me go off on like a 20x kill streak. Oh, this is I'm
That's
not
my
doming
tactic.
every single guy I see. Like it's a different experience. It's gonna be a different experience for Filipino gamers, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. So it's exciting. So, hmm. So, anyways, this has been a fruitful discussion, gentlemen. Any final words you want to give, Rads, Duff?
Actually,
Uh,
here
all
I'll
right, go
give
ahead, Bean.
them
All right, go ahead.
something to say. Uh, Tell the audience why they should start dipping their toes into the tactical gaming sphere.
Hmm. I guess I'll start on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you feel the pull for something more than just getting that 30, and you really want to, yeah, if it's not, if getting that 30 is boring for you already, then it's time to consider going into tactical gaming because there you're going to meet the same group of people because it's not so much as the character in the game that's leveling up, but so much as you. Because as through the course of the discussion, tactical gaming now is the people that you surround yourself in because you can put all the sandbox tools there, but if the people don't want to play tactically, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So um if you are able to at least try a tactical game, I suggest you do. And if you consider a community, why not RPP? I mean, we're already here, so go ahead and give it a try. If it won't burn a hole in your wallet, so we're here. Give us a shot, and I think you might enjoy your time because it's not just about playing the game; it's also building a community.
Yeah. Duff, you want to give some thoughts?
Yeah, my generation, we all play PS4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and then next year we buy another Modern Warfare, and it's the same shit over and over again. I'm pretty sure they released Modern Warfare and Call of Duty is basically the same thing in the past 2 years.
Yeah,
Battlefield, if you want to get a more realistic experience in Call of Duty, I guess you could go for Battlefield when you have, for example, um, a wider scope of playing. Like 100 players, like 64 player servers. A lot of people. But it's the individuality from these games that they play that I think they won't find in tactical games. The the community and the friendship that you achieve in tactical games, it's not the same as in from other games, like in Call of Duty, Battlefield, Fortnite, even or CS:GO. These games are up to your individual stats, how the individual plays, but this is not what tactical gaming offers. Tactical gaming is the friendship that you make and the teamwork that you have in your skills to communicate with other people to achieve the success. Unlike in Call of Duty, you will get like 10-man kill streak, then you nuke the game, you finish it, go on to the next match. It's just the experience that you will get is unique, that I think that a lot of people will enjoy because they get to talk to new people, they get to talk to people from around the world, they can still have fun, and hell, if they want, they could even go like I don't recommend it, but they could go solo killing people if they're really that good at aiming. But I don't think they will be that good anyways, because that is the point of the game, is to communicate, coordinate, and to conquer, like the game is advertised as, not the individuality that other games are to give you.
Beans dog.
Is that the alarm?
Sorry, Duff, we cut you off.
No, that was it. That was it. Don't worry.
Alright, so anyways, good thoughts, gentlemen, and it was really great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. For you dirty gamers out there, join RPP. We would love to have
Discord
you on
link
board.
below.
Discord link
Check
below.
it out.
And then, if you have any questions you want to discuss about it, leave some comments down below, and
Or just
like and
visit the
subscribe.
Discord and PM us directly.
Yeah,
Jesus.
PM us directly. Not really PM us directly,
Yeah.
but just chat us on the channels. We'd love that better, so everyone can see. So
All
anyways,
right,
it's
and
been
that
great,
has
so
been
Radio-
another episode of Radio
RPP episode
RPP.
2. Let's go. So
Posted. We'll be back next week with another episode. See ya.
see ya.
Bye.
We need a better sign.
Squad 2, Squad 4, Command Squad. This is Squad 1 signing off.
There's Squad 4 over and out.
Squad 4 signing out.
Command squad over now.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks.